bitcoins does it take to get some goddamn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another video of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back, my friends. It is amazing to be back on the tube. I missed you all so very much. Thank you to everyone who has been sending me all of these emails and DMs. I wish I could have got back to all of them, but nevertheless, we have exciting things to talk about. Now, over the past few months, we have had an incredible Bitcoin rally. Bitcoin not only reclaiming its previous all-time high, but actually surpassing it. Now, some people thought that this distribution was the top, but then we had this nice accumulation down here. But the most interesting part of it all is we are seeing Bitcoin act in a way we have not really seen before, which is sort of having some skeptics out there argue that what we could be seeing is a potential double top for Bitcoin. Now, of course, I don't want to just start this video off with the negative, because there's actually some incredible fundamental on-chain and fractals that we need to look at, because there is a lot happening in the background right now. So what we need to talk about is how much gas does this Bitcoin bull run have left? And I also want to discuss, if you're new to crypto, one of the absolute easiest time-tested strategies to make the most money in this type of a bull run. I've been in the cryptocurrency markets for well over 5 years right now, and I can tell you human emotion does not change. So in today's video, we are going to cover lots of topics. Make sure that you stay all the way to the end, because we have some crazy US news coming out that does have some investors a little bit fearful. But stick around and I'll give you my opinion on that. And if you love daily cryptocurrency content and you want to see more videos like this, we are going to be going into NFTs. We are going to be having more interviews on this channel, and we are going to be diving into some of the absolute probably best opportunities, some altcoin gems, some DeFi projects, some NFTs, things that I believe will allow the new investor to make the most out of this market. So if all that sounds good to you and you guys are happy to see a Crypto Zombie video, please smash the likes, drop a comment below. I missed you all. Thank you to everyone that has been sending me messages and emails. And without further ado, I know why you're really here. We need to talk about what is actually happening in this Bitcoin chart. So let's have a look super quick at the total market cap, and you can see right here over on CoinGecko, we're sitting at about a $2.7 billion overall crypto market cap. Now, this is obviously amazing for cryptocurrencies. This is some of the highest levels we've seen. In fact, if we have a look at just the altcoins, so this is just the altcoins, not Bitcoin, you can see that we are pushing for new all-time highs, trying to get above that $1.5 trillion level. These are exciting times, and as I stated previously, there are going to be some insane opportunities for money making moving forward, and I want to be the one to bring it to you first. So, having a look right here, I would like to start super quick with some TA for Bitcoin. Now, this is a very simple chart. If you watch my video from 2 months ago, we had these exact same levels. This is what we were looking at. Okay, so if we come back to this inflection point where we had the $42,000 Bitcoin level, let me circle this for you right here. You could see that this created a very significant resistance level for Bitcoin. And if we actually draw these trend lines, as you can see right here, we were held down. I mean, you could see right here, we had some major resistance. We also had it as a little bit of support. And then once we hit that line again, we absolutely blasted through. We retested this resistance as support, and we did put in a new all-time high. Now, one of the biggest questions is this actually a double top? Should we be getting excited? Why didn't we see more exuberance for the Bitcoin ETF? Well, to be totally honest with you guys, if we have a look at the chart right here, I think that we did see it. I think that it was priced in. I think a lot of people were anticipating this, and they thought that on the day there would have either been a dump or a massive pump. But you can actually see that once we broke this resistance level right here at around that $45,000 level, we did in fact have a massive rally. And if we just take it literally from the bottom to the top, when Bitcoin bottomed at around that $29,000 level, we've actually seen over a 128% increase to the top. So we have had a massive massive recovery. Should we be getting excited? Well, one thing that we've not shown on this channel, actually had an opportunity to learn this from MDX Crypto. Shout out to him. I had an opportunity to go to Dubai over the past week ago, and it was just an amazing experience to just see so many people so excited, so passionate about cryptocurrency. It honestly sparked my passion for it again. And having a look over here, we have the Crypto Bitcoin Bull Run Index. Now, the number is currently at 63. So what does this mean? Well, it means the higher the number, the more likely that we are at the end of the cycle, 100 being the absolute top. Now, this is created through a bunch of different factors. I'm not going to go into every specific parameter of how this is calculated, but you can see right here, when we did have the Bitcoin price hit around the $1,151 mark on December 4th of 2013, we did have the CBBI confidence peaking at about 100. We also had a 99, very similar, when Bitcoin broke the $19,500 level, so $500 more dollars, and that was our 20K top. And you can see currently, if we just zoom in right here, we had somewhat confidence during the Wyckoff distribution, but we still only hit about 75%, showing us that the bull run still has so much more steam. And currently sitting at the level that we are today, between 63 and 64, this is telling me that there is a lot more room for Bitcoin to grow. Now, we do know that past performance doesn't always indicate future results, but as TechDev pointed out, after 140 days, a slightly flattened 2017 fractal continues to predict the day-to-day Bitcoin price action better than most short-term TA I've seen. Now, the reason for this so-called predictability of Bitcoin, as you know, is due to the Bitcoin halving, right? We have the block rewards cut in half. We have the distribution, the inflation of Bitcoin cut in half. And this is something that we know. It is something we can anticipate, we can adjust to, we can expect. Limited quantity of Bitcoin, excess amounts of fiat money being printed, right? Nobody really knows how much gold there is. They just dug up another, mine over in Russia, 1.4 billion, something like that. But Bitcoin has always had this built into its mechanism. And the other thing I wanted to point out, you guys may remember that there was indeed a fractal that we had starting back around July of 2020. Now, a lot of people were saying that because we did have this sort of Wyckoff distribution, that was the end, right? The institutions played us, they tricked us, the jig is up and the double top is happening, right? But if you actually have a look at this fractal, and I'll actually put it back on right here, you could see that when we put it on the new chart, it is incredible, the similarities. And let me actually show you how I did this. So essentially what we're trying to do right now is to sort of look at the history of Bitcoin, see if we can find anything that looks like what is happening right now. And we did speak about this potential Wyckoff distribution that happened way back in July of 2020 before we had the dump on September of the same year. So if you come over here and you are using TradingView, you can just take the bars pattern tool and just extend it out like this. And basically what that does is it gives us a replica right here of this chart that we had during that time, which you could argue looked very similar to what Bitcoin had seen. Now, obviously, this is a much larger scale, so we do have to extend this out from the bottom to the top. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be exact, but it is going to be similar. And have a look at this, my friends. This is exactly what we spoke about 2 months ago on the channel when I explained to you that there was no way that the bull run was over. And you could see that, no, it was not the first time that we had a Wyckoff distribution. And you could see down here, arguably, we actually had the accumulation following. And I don't have to tell you what happened. We did not stop right here. Of course, there is the potential of coming back down, retesting some of those levels, but this is a very healthy market. Bitcoin is definitely doing what Bitcoin is supposed to do, which is protect against the inflation of the world. Now, if you want to hear some other data, according to CryptoQuant, Binance Cryptocurrency Exchange once again faced a massive fund outflow of around 38,246 Bitcoin, lowering the balance to about $500,000. Now, there was a little bit of a bug where even Peter Brandt had pointed out, the price got all the way down to about $8,000. Maybe that had something to do with spooking the investors. Maybe that's why they moved the funds off of the US exchange, but it's also been coming off of the main exchange as well. So with Bitcoin moving past the previous all-time high and trading volume volumes remaining stable, some traders and investors are just choosing to move their funds away. What does this mean? Well, it means that they're not really looking to sell, right? Those investors, those savvy in the know money guys, well, maybe they did trick us a little bit with the Wyckoff distribution, but we did in fact see the accumulation at 50% drop, and we have returned to those same levels again. This is showing massive, massive confidence. In fact, if you just want to talk about the open interest alone, it has absolutely skyrocketed to an all-time high of 5.44 billion on CME. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a measurement of the outstanding number of derivatives or futures contracts. So they added that it has increased by almost 4 billion in October alone. This is a growth of 265%. And as you can see right here, rising OI regardless of the direction of the futures contracts, the trading, whether they're longing or shorting, ultimately is generally considered bullish as there are more market participants and more money exposed to the underlying asset, which in this case is Bitcoin. And from a fundamental standpoint, we know that Bitcoin is the honey badger. It does not care. And a lot of people were pointing out the fact that the hash rate had fallen historically by 78%, right? But you can see right here that it actually is only now 22% shy of its all-time high, showing that we also have that confidence coming back in not only the investors, but also the miners as well. Now, also, I've heard some talks of the fact that, well, the S&P is also putting in a new all-time high. So why is this happening? Now, if you've been in sort of any of these online markets, if you use eBay, if you're a collector, you will notice that the price of collectibles has absolutely skyrocketed, right? I personally collect pinball machines, and I will tell you the price of them has literally doubled for collector's items in just this year alone. We're seeing comic books. We are seeing just really anything nostalgia, just absolutely skyrocketing, toys, things like that. Why are people moving away from the dollar? Why are they moving into things like collectibles, like gold, like stocks, like Bitcoin, the best performing asset ever? Well, like Max Kaiser stated, for people that are thinking that this is the top, the panic hasn't even started. When Bitcoin crosses 100,000 US dollars, the real panic will begin. Fact is, the USD is about to succumb to a hyperinflationary crash as confidence crumbles. Are you prepared to get completely wiped out? And as you can see right here, 5.4% inflation is well above the traditional 2.3% inflation that we're used to. In fact, the M1 money chart has been discontinued. I wonder why. Does anybody notice anything strange about this chart? Just sort of chugging along, and then, oh my goodness, what was that? So obviously people are realizing that the dollar is not worthless, but it's not exactly the promise that they always said it would be, right? In fact, if you just have a look at the last three presidents, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, you could see massive debt being built, 1.3, 1.2, 4.2, 1.5, and these are trillions, my friends, not billions, but trillions. And this is exactly what brings us back to Bitcoin. Like Anthony Scaramucci said, he's head fund manager over at his own company. He said anyone that basically does their homework on Bitcoin realizes that it becomes a necessity. It becomes almost irresponsible not to have it in your portfolio, right? He says anyone that does their homework ends up investing. Look at Ray Dalio, a Bitcoin skeptic, now a Bitcoin investor. These are brilliant guys who did their homework and draw a conclusion that they needed to own some Bitcoin. He describes Bitcoin as digital gold. He says he has over $1 billion in Bitcoin. Well, congratulations, sir. If you had 1 penny in Bitcoin and 99 cents in cash over the last decade, that 1 penny would have outperformed everyone and everything. Consider the implications. Now, before we get into the big reveal, before we talk about what is the absolute best strategy to make money in this bull run, I do want to just super quick talk about the Bitcoin chart. Because I do want to talk about, could we have a potential pullback? That is the one thing I want to talk about. I'm not going to go too into the TA today, but you can see this blue box territory down here definitely showed a lot of interest, a lot of significance. So it wouldn't be impossible to retest this trend line down here again around the $55,000 level, or even potentially $54,000, with the ultimate buying opportunity somewhere between $48,000 and $45,000. And even if we were to do that, we would still be putting in a higher high on the higher time frames, and I would still be incredibly bullish. So just a little bit of super quick TA. In some future videos, we're going to do a lot more TA. I'm going to be doing altcoins. We're going to be talking about potential investments. I'll let you guys know if I hear of any pre-sales, okay? We want to absolutely outperform everyone, and that is the goal of this channel moving forward. But what I do want to talk about is where that money will be made. Now, a lot of people come to me and go, hey, K-Dub, Bitcoin's at $62,000. I can't even afford a Bitcoin, or even if you can, Bitcoin needs to go to $120,000 before you will actually double your money, right? And I understand where you're coming from. Well, that is where the cycles play in. You could see that what we're looking at right here is the Bitcoin dominance. Now, ignoring all these lines, these are just for my ability to sort of assess the chart. You could see that we have fallen well below our original blue box territory, which provided an incredible amount of support, essentially all through the 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 run. But we have fallen very low, hitting around 40%. And although Bitcoin has climbed up just a little bit, this is where these cycles come into play. And if you're not familiar with how it works, it is very simple. Basically, investors sit in cash. They realize that the cash is worthless, they move it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin starts to pump, usually followed by the top altcoins. And, we've seen Ethereum. Ethereum certainly looks like it could be on its way to a new all-time high. And then, it goes into the altcoins and the cycle repeats. And this, although it doesn't have to happen exactly how it's happened in the past, I can tell you from experience, it has happened virtually every single time. So if you're holding primarily Bitcoin right now, which I do always hold primarily Bitcoin, more than 50% of my portfolio is always in Bitcoin. As I told you in my previous video, I have begun diversifying because once these altcoins start to run, they are going to absolutely skyrocket. But as I said, you usually focus on the higher caps first. Now, pointing over here, having a look, you can definitely see the inverse relation. Bitcoin is orange. This is over on CoinMarketCap. And then Ethereum is gray, and the other altcoins are below that. And you can see that Ethereum tends to often lead the rally, followed by the trickle-down effect into the smaller altcoins. And as Bitcoin begins to break into these new territories, into price discovery, Bitcoin will be the one that all eyes are on. However, as Bitcoin begins to stagnate a little bit, even if it has a pullback, often what you'll see is the altcoins will have that crash, usually with Bitcoin, but then the altcoins will have a faster recovery, moving into what everybody has dubbed as the infamous alt season. And I'm going to be focusing specifically on some coins that you need to be paying attention to, especially if you're new and if you're looking to make more gains than Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin needs a lot more market cap to move in order to make those gains, right? So that's why we're going to be talking about that. And just having a look right here, like Stefan Kretscher, now he's a German-based market strategist, he pointed out that the formation of higher highs on the ETH to Bitcoin chart, right? So this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin, has been showing in this commodity channel index, the CCI, it's showing hidden divergence against the pair's downtrend, which means that often we could be looking for that reversal. Now, keep in mind, the level that we're looking for is about 0.1 Bitcoin. That's where we really want Ethereum to get back to, right? And according to Kretscher, he says that ETH BTC may rebound in the coming sessions, and he anticipates Ether to hit its monthly pivot point around 0.07 Bitcoin, almost over 8% of the current levels. The upside target also coincided perfectly with the 0.618 fib. Now, if we see Ethereum follow in the steps of Bitcoin, which is usually what it does, we are going to see the excitement in the altcoins again. As soon as we have that Ethereum new all-time high, we're going to see some of the higher caps following. For those of you holding Cardano, and potentially Chainlink and some of these other high cap cryptos, and that will trickle down. And the way to make the most money in the space is to follow the money, follow where it's going. Right now it has been the Bitcoin show, but it is slowly morphing into the Ethereum show, soon to be the altcoin show as well. Now, that is just a broad overview. Stick around, get subscribed. We are going to be doing daily videos now. Crypto Zombies back, and I'm going to be bringing you lots of projects. I've had so many intelligent people that I've spoken to, investors, VCs, just hardcore crypto addicts, degenerates. I've spoke to them all, right? And I have definitely narrowed down the area that we need to be focusing on. And I'm going to let you know in some upcoming videos. So make sure that you guys turn on the bell notifications, because these videos are going to be very important and very time sensitive moving forward. Now, let's talk a little bit about some news and then let's get on out of here. I know this is a long video, but we needed a long video. I've a lot of things have happened, right? So the SEC is expected to head U.S. stablecoin regulation and enforcement. Now, this has a lot of people a little bit worried. They're freaked out. Personally, I don't really understand how this is going to work. I'm not even bothered by this. It's mostly just noise for me right now. So SEC stands for Securities and Exchange Commission, key word being securities. Securities are essentially things that you invest in that will hopefully increase in value based on the sort of work of others, right? The success of the company, how well the coin and the project are doing, right? A stable coin doesn't increase or decrease based on the success of anything. It's a stable coin. It's pegged to the US dollar. So I'm a little concerned as to how they're going to be putting this into their jurisdiction. That is definitely something that we will be keeping our eyes on. It's a little strange of a story to me. We've also seen that China's National Development and Reform Commission is now seeking public opinion on the inclusion of crypto mining on its list of phased out industries. And hear this, after seeing that the ban helped the US to become the world's dominant crypto mining nation. We spoke about this for months and months and months and months on this channel. And I said, China banning Bitcoin is a good thing. These guys are flip-flopping left and right faster than, India, they're banning it, they're not banning it. It's madness, it's noise. I don't really care. I don't even think at this point it should have much of an effect on crypto, whether or not they do decide to allow mining back. Personally, China, sorry, you had your chance. You ruined your chance. The US is now finally starting to embrace cryptocurrency, or at least trying to regulate it. And for everyone out there worried about the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the US, I can tell you right now that it is not as dire as you may have heard. Things are looking very good for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. At the end of the day, realistically, let's be honest, they just want to figure out a way to tax it. You and I both know that. They don't care if you invest in this coin or that coin. They just want to know how do they get their cut. And once they fully figure that out, I can guarantee you that the US will most likely spearhead the development and the embracing of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We already know Bitcoin is not a security. We already know Ether is not a security. So I wouldn't be worried. And I also really wouldn't care too much about what China does. Obviously, it's part of the news. I'm bringing it to you. Do I really care? No. Doesn't really matter. And finally, the one that may potentially affect us, especially as crypto investors, is the fact that we do have Janet Yellen. Apparently, she was on CNBC, State of the Union, and she said that U.S. lawmakers are considering taxing unrealized capital gains. According to Yellen, the funds collected would help finance things related to climate and social change.
It would help get at capital gains, which are an extraordinarily large part of the incomes of the wealthiest individuals. And right now, escape taxation until they're realized, and often they're unrealized, and at death benefit from so-called step-up of basis. So it's not a wealth tax, but a tax on unrealized capital gains of exceptionally wealthy individuals.
Now, explain this to me. How does taxing unrealized gains exactly work? Is there like a certain time? Is it tax season, like January to April? Am I supposed to just dump my Bitcoin? And, how does this work? I know they say sometimes if you get paid for it, you're supposed to, immediately cash out. It's honestly ridiculous at this point. 1 minute it's a commodity. They treat it like, essentially, if you came over to my house, right, and you did some work for me, right, and instead of paying you in dollars, I decided to give you a fine piece of artwork or an NFT, right, or an NFT. But let's just keep it physical to stay with the dinosaur laws over here. So I give you a piece of art, right? I give you a Rembrandt or something like that, right? Now, clearly it has value. Obviously, there are people who would be willing to buy that painting for a certain amount of money, but what am I going to do? Say, oh, this guy offered me $28,000 and tax season's coming up, so let me just saw this painting in half and send half over to you, sell half the painting? How's that going to work? So guys, make up your mind. What is Bitcoin? You say Bitcoin's not money. You say Bitcoin is a commodity. You're treating Bitcoin the same way that you treat capital gains, but how can I pay the capital gains if I haven't actually sold the commodity or the underlying asset. It's totally confusing. It will not work. For people freaking out over this, this is never going to work. This is never going to pass. And yeah, I mean, like, what are they going to do? Just tell everybody, like, okay, we all just got to sell our stuff and then all the markets crash? I mean, just think about it. It's absolutely illogical, but I had to bring it to you because this is the FUD of the day. But that being said, I hope you guys took something away from this video. I hope you do appreciate the fact that we are back. I tried to pack as much information in this video as possible. We are going to be looking at a lot of Bitcoin and altcoin TA. We're going to be looking into pre-sales. We're going to be looking into low cap altcoin gems. We're going to be looking at everything in the broader spectrum. I'll be having guests on the channel. I'll be going on other channels. It's going to be a new era, and thank you so much for everyone, once again, that's been subscribing. I do love you guys. I know today's video was a little bit longer, but we had a lot of things to cover. Thank you so much. Smash that subscribe button if you have not. Drop a like, drop a comment. Join my free Telegram group, link below in the description. Also, as you guys know, there are tons of opportunities. In fact, Bybit specifically is running a massive opportunity right now, $3,500 in bonuses. Check that out below. Thank you so much again for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I'm going to be doing these videos every single day. Tell a friend, tell a family member. The zombie is back. Until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.